I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, by the way. I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 10 years now. We got married young, had a decent life, 2 kids, a house, the usual suburban stuff. I was happy enough, at least I thought I was. But somewhere along the line, I started noticing little things that didn't sit right. Nothing obvious, just small signs that Lisa was drifting away or maybe just hiding something. At first, it was her phone acting a little too secretive. She'd hide it when I walked into the room, or she'd get weird about me borrowing it to check something. Then there were her late nights at work, which I figured was just a term for staying late at the office. But honestly, I had a feeling she was screwing around. She'd come home with that tight-lipped smile, and her excuses became more and more transparent. She'd brush off my questions, call me paranoid, or say I was overthinking everything. Classic deflections, but I know my wife. I know when she's hiding something. Then last week I noticed she was acting even more strange. She kept disappearing during the day, and I'd catch her looking at her phone more than usual, sometimes slipping into the bathroom with it, locking the door. I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was lying to me. So I decided to do some digging. Nothing crazy. I wasn't about to go full stalker, just a few sneaky checks. I wasn't expecting much, honestly. But then I found something that made my stomach drop. It started with a text thread, just a few innocuous messages at first until I saw pictures. There was Lisa in a hotel room half-dressed with some guy I'd never seen before. I recognized the guy because I'd seen him around the neighborhood. He's the contractor installing the new pool. Our pool. The one I thought was supposed to make everything better, more perfect. Turns out it was a perfect cover for whatever they were doing. I couldn't believe my eyes. I stared at the screen, reading her messages to this guy, telling him how hot she was, how she loved the thrill of sneaking around, and that she wanted to meet him again. All this while she was out supposedly running errands. Or meeting the neighbors. The worst part, she kept calling him babe, like they had some secret little thing going. I felt numb. My whole world tilted on its axis in that moment. All the trust I ever had in her just evaporated, and I was left standing there, holding my phone, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. I didn't sleep that night. I kept staring at the screen, trying to process it. My wife, Lisa, who I loved and trusted, was cheating on me with the contractor I hired to build our pool. The guy she's been lying to me about for months. It's like everything was a lie. I kept wondering how long this had been going on, how many times she'd met him, what else she'd hide from me. And then I thought about confronting her, but I wasn't sure what I'd say or how I'd handle it. I just knew I couldn't keep living in this lie anymore. I had to find out what she was hiding, and most of all, I wanted to make her pay for what she'd done. The next morning, I woke up with a pounding headache and a thousand thoughts racing through my head. My mind kept circling back to that damn message thread. I replayed everything I saw, every word she'd written, every picture she'd sent. I kept asking myself if I was overreacting, if maybe I'd misunderstood, but deep down I knew this wasn't just some innocent flirtation. It was something much worse. I decided I needed to confront her. I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. First, I needed to gather myself, figure out what I was going to say. But honestly, I was furious. Hot, red-hot anger mixed with a crushing sense of betrayal. I felt like I'd been punched again, this time in the stomach. I spent the morning pacing around the living room, trying to come up with a plan, a way to catch her off guard. I couldn't just burst in accusing her. I needed proof, and I wanted her to admit it herself. When Lisa finally came downstairs, she looked tired, tense. Her eyes darted around as if she was trying to hide something. I played it calm for the most part, but inside I was boiling. I told her I needed to talk, just the two of us. Her sassy, snarky attitude immediately kicked in. She rolled her eyes and threw a glare. "What now, Mike? I have things to do. Can't you see I'm busy?" I took a breath and looked her straight in the eyes. "No, Lisa, we need to talk. It's about your phone, your late nights, your secretive behavior lately." Her face shifted and she started to lie right away. "You're imagining things. I've been working late, that's all. Maybe you're just paranoid." That was a lie, of course. I already knew she was lying. I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots, the pictures, the messages. Her face immediately changed. Her eyes widened and she looked stunned, then angry. She snatched the phone from my hand and started yelling, calling me crazy, accusing me of spying on her, of invading her privacy. "You're such a control freak, Mike. You're overreacting. I don't know what you're talking about." But I wasn't backing down. I told her I knew everything, that I saw her with the contractor, her secret lover. Her mouth opened, then closed, and for a moment she just stared at me. Her eyes flickered with something, defiance maybe, or guilt. Then she started coming up with stories. "It's not what you think," she said. "It was just a kiss, a mistake, nothing serious, it's over now." I felt my blood boil. It was like she was trying to gaslight me, as if I was the crazy one. She kept saying she was sorry, but that it was a mistake she'd made, that she loved me, that she'd never do anything to hurt me. I couldn't believe her. How could she be so brazen, so quick to lie and deny? The hardest part was the look in her eyes, so bitchy, so dismissive, like I was just some inconvenience she had to deal with. That whole exchange left me empty, numb. I wanted to scream at her, to shake her, but I knew that wouldn't help. I just sat there, staring, trying to process what was happening. My wife, the woman I'd trusted for so long, was cheating on me with the contractor we hired to build our dream pool. My head spun with rage, sadness, and a deep sense of loss. I realized I was at a crossroads. I had to decide what to do next, but right now all I could feel was a terrible ache in my chest. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not to me, not to us. After that confrontation, I didn't sleep much that night. I kept replaying everything she said, everything I saw. The way Lisa shrugged off my accusations like I was some insecure idiot, the way her eyes flickered with that bitchy attitude, like she didn't care what I thought. I felt so betrayed, so humiliated. I had trusted her, and she'd just thrown all that trust in the trash. The next day, I decided I needed to get some space. I told her I was going to work, but instead went to my buddy Tom's place. I needed to think and figure out what my next move was. Sitting there, I kept staring at my phone, debating whether I should call her out again or just disappear for a while. I knew I couldn't let her think I was just going to roll over and forget about it. No way. I had to do something, something to make her regret what she'd done. While I was sitting there, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from a neighbor's drone. Those damn things are everywhere these days, surveying property lines, recording everything. Out of curiosity, I checked the footage, and what I saw made my blood run cold. It was a clip taken during the day she admitted she was working late. But instead of her being at her desk or whatever, the drone caught her sneaking out the back of the house, getting into a car with the contractor. They drove off together, and the footage lingered on their faces, clear as day. I couldn't believe it. All this time, I thought she was just lying about the late nights, about her meetings. I had proof now. The drone footage was undeniable. I felt a surge of something, anger, revenge maybe. I didn't know exactly what yet, but I knew I couldn't just let this slide. That night, I stayed up, planning what to do. I decided I'd confront her again, but this time with even more evidence. I wanted her to realize I knew every little lie she'd been telling. I also decided I needed to get some of my own evidence, photos, maybe even a hidden camera if I could find one. I wasn't going to get played anymore. I'd make sure she understood I wasn't some fool who could be taken advantage of. Meanwhile, Lisa was acting more bitchy than ever. She was sassy, dismissive, and kept throwing attitude my way like I was the problem. She kept insisting she loved me, but I could see right through her. It was like she thought she could just brush everything under the rug, act like nothing happened, and I'd forget. But I wasn't that guy anymore. I'd lost my respect for her, and I was starting to see the real her, this sneaky, manipulative woman who'd been cheating on me behind my back. And honestly, I was furious. Not just at her, but at myself for letting it get this far. I promised myself I'd handle this carefully, but inside I was burning with a need for justice. She ruined what I thought was the perfect life, and I knew I had to make her pay somehow. I just didn't know exactly how yet. All I knew was that I couldn't let her keep lying, cheating, and sneering at me like I was some fool. This was going to end, and I was going to make sure she regretted the day she ever crossed me. The following morning, I woke up with a clear plan in mind. I couldn't just confront her blindly anymore. I needed irrefutable proof, and I needed to be prepared. I spent hours researching hidden cameras, figuring out the best spots around the house where she wouldn't suspect anything. I also called in a favor from a guy I knew who specialized in surveillance. I told him I wanted to catch her in the act, make sure I had everything documented. While I was setting everything up, Lisa was her usual bitchy self. She was walking around, throwing attitudes, snapping at the kids, acting like she was the queen of the world. I kept my cool, but inside I was seething. I knew how she operated. She'd lie her way out of anything, spin stories, deny everything, and then act innocent. But I was ready for her this time. I had it all planned out. Later that day, I managed to get a few shots of her sneaking out again, this time with my hidden camera placed perfectly near the back door. I even managed to catch her texting someone again, that same sassy, babe stuff. My heart pounded every time I checked the footage, knowing I was finally catching her in her lies. I felt a strange mix of victory and disgust. She thought she could keep playing me, but I was done being the fool. That evening I called her upstairs, told her I needed to talk. She rolled her eyes, acting all dismissive, but I kept my composure. I pulled out my phone, showing her the new footage. Her face instantly changed. The bright, arrogant attitude she had vanished, replaced with a look of panic. She stammered, trying to brush it off, saying it was just a mistake, or that I was reading too much into it. I told her flat out, "No, Lisa, I have the proof now. You lied to me about everything. You've been sleeping with the contractor and lying about it the whole time." Her eyes widened again, then narrowed. "You're crazy," she spat, trying to act like I was the one losing it. "You're just jealous. You're making shit up because you're insecure." I was furious at how she was trying to spin it, like I was the problem, not her. I felt my blood boiling, but I kept my voice steady. "Look, I don't care what your excuses are. I know what I saw and I've got the footage. You've been cheating on me with that contractor for months. How could you do this to us?" She started crying, fake tears this time. "You don't understand, Mike. It was just sex. It meant nothing. I was stressed and he was there. I swear I love you." Her voice cracked and her bitchy attitude was replaced by that manipulative, crying act she's perfected over the years. I just looked at her, feeling like I'd been hit again. The woman I thought I knew was just a lie, a mask she wore to hide her true self, this sneaky, selfish cheat. I couldn't believe I'd let it get this far. All the signs were there and I ignored them. Now I was faced with the reality that my wife, my partner, had been betraying me in the worst way possible. That moment I realized I couldn't stay in this marriage anymore. I had to do something, but I wasn't sure what. I just knew I couldn't forgive her. Not anymore. I had to think about my next move, but one thing was clear. I was done being played for a fool. That night I stayed up late, rewatching the footage over and over, trying to find some way to make sense of everything. The anger simmered beneath my skin, but beneath that was a deep sadness I couldn't shake. I thought about the years we'd spent together, the plans we made, the kids we raised. It all felt like a lie now. Lisa, the woman I trusted and loved, had been lying and cheating behind my back. And for what? A few moments of sex, some thrill she craved. I felt so stupid for not noticing the signs sooner, for not trusting myself. I finally decided I had to confront her again. I couldn't just let it be, not after all this evidence. I told her I needed to talk seriously. I sat her down in the living room and I told her I knew everything about her secret affair with the contractor, about the texts, the late nights, the sneaking around. Her face went white. She started to protest, to deny, but I cut her off. I played her own words, showed her the footage of her leaving with him, the messages she sent her. Excuses. I told her I was done. Her bitchy attitude returned in full force. She snapped at me, trying to gaslight me again, saying I was crazy, that I was overreacting, that I was just jealous. I looked at her with nothing but disgust. "No, Lisa, I've seen enough. I've got the proof and I'm not going to let you lie your way out of this." I told her I wanted her to leave, to pack her things and get out of the house. I needed space to breathe, to think, but she refused. She started crying again, fake tears, tears of the betrayed wife. "It's not what it looks like, Mike," she said. "It's just sex. It meant nothing. You're overreacting. I love you, I swear." Her voice was full of that manipulative tone she always used when she was trying to get her way. I just shook my head, feeling more disgusted than ever. I knew her tricks now and I was done falling for them. I realized I couldn't keep living in this chaos. I had to make a decision, whether to fight for the marriage or walk away for good. I knew my heart was broken, but I also knew I deserved better than this betrayal. That night, I made up my mind. I wasn't going to stay in this toxic mess. I would gather all the evidence I had, consult a lawyer, and prepare for whatever came next. I felt a strange sense of relief mixed with heartbreak. It was time to take control of my life again, even if it meant losing the woman I once loved. I'd learned a hard lesson. You can't trust someone who constantly lies and sneers at you, no matter how much you want to believe in them. In the days that followed, everything changed so quickly I could barely keep up. I had made the decision to divorce Lisa. It wasn't an easy choice. After all, 10 years is a long time to just walk away from. But I knew deep down I couldn't keep living in lies, betrayal, and manipulation. My mind kept replaying all the signs I missed, all the times I ignored my gut feeling because I wanted to believe she was better than that. But she proved me wrong. I spent most of my time packing her things, trying not to let the anger consume me. Every box I filled felt like I was erasing the woman I thought I knew, replacing her with the cold reality of who she really was. I didn't want to be petty or vindictive, but I couldn't help feeling a deep sense of satisfaction knowing I finally had the upper hand. The footage, the texts, they were my proof, and I knew I'd never forget what she did, but I also knew I had to move on. The day she left, she threw a tantrum, calling me every name in the book, insisting I was the crazy one, that I was ruining everything. But I just looked at her with tired, empty eyes. I didn't bother arguing. There was no point. She could scream, cry, or lie all she wanted. The truth was out, and I had the evidence to back it up. Watching her walk out the door, I felt a strange mixture of relief and pain. It was the end of a chapter I once thought was perfect, but it was also the start of something new, something I needed more than ever. Over the next few weeks, I focused on rebuilding myself. I got a new job, started seeing friends again, and even hired a counselor to help me process everything. I learned that trusting someone blindly isn't worth it, and that sometimes the biggest act of love you can do for yourself is to walk away from someone who betrays you so thoroughly. I also realized how important it is to listen to your instincts, those little warning signs we often ignore until it's too late. Looking back, I see now how foolish I was to think I could fix things, to think I could save what was already broken. Lisa's betrayal was a wake-up call, not just about her, but about myself too. I learned that respect and honesty are everything in a relationship, and if those aren't there, then nothing else matters. So I'm here to say, if you're going through something similar, trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs. Confront it head-on and protect your peace. Because in the end, betrayal cuts deeper than words and healing takes time. But I can say this, I'm finally free, and I'll never let anyone treat me like that again. My life is mine now, and I'm going to rebuild it, one honest step at a time.